If you want to visualize the entrepreneurial journey of Dick Costolo, Travis Kalanick, Erin Bali, Stuart Butterfield, or most other successful entrepreneurs, it helps to think of their entrepreneurial journey as a vortex or a tornado. Imagine a vortex and imagine that Costolo started his entrepreneurial journey at the top of this vortex as an improv comedian. Here he learned how to break away from the rat race, how to not be dependent on a fixed monthly paycheck, and how to not compare his self-worth to others based on a job title. He also learned how to create something from scratch and learned valuable presentation skills. In his next role at Accenture, he found his future co-founders, learned how to manage a team, and learned that the internet was going to be an important technology in the future. At Burning Door, which is the next point in his vortex, Costolo still hadn't figured out what exactly he wanted to build. Yet he had many learnings by starting Burning Door. He learned how to sell and how to be a salesperson. He also learned that he could make money in consulting, but that there was no leverage in consulting. This meant that he could not be very successful in consulting, at least by his own definition of success, and that he should build software products to get the leverage that he needed to be successful. This is why Costolo joined hands with the two Kellogg guys and merged with DKA. Again, DKA did not succeed, but Costolo had many valuable learnings while he was there. First and most importantly, he learned that blogging was going to be big in the future. Second, he learned that consensus decision making does not work. You need expertise-based decision making. He learned that jack of all trades are better hires for startups than specialists because startups need flexible employees. He saw that early strategic investment could be a recipe for disaster. He also learned that having unequal equity split between co-founders leads to conflict and value destruction. Further down the vortex, at Spy on It, Costolo applied his prior learning and decided to make decisions by expertise and not by consensus. But this time, he learned the importance of role division between co-founders when he and Steve had a lot of conflict due to their overlapping roles. He also learned that early-stage founders cannot outsource recruitment and have to learn how to attract great talent themselves. This time, he exclusively hired jack of all trades, but saw that it slowed down the startup's pace of execution at scale. This was contradictory to what he had learned at DKA, which finally taught him the balance necessary between jack of all trades and specialists. Another important learning for Costolo was the importance of having a board and of having a handle on the startup's performance metrics, without which it is very hard to raise VC rounds. He also learned how to hear a no from VCs, and although he couldn't raise money from VCs, he built a strong relationship with DFJ Portage. When Costolo and team got a strategic investment offer from 724, they knew from their prior learning to demand a 100% acquisition instead of a strategic investment. Finally, at the base of the vortex, when Costolo started FeedBurner, all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle were now in place. He fully understood the history of the space and how the technology landscape was changing. He finally had a strong relationship with his co-founders. All co-founders had figured out the best role division that worked for them. They had also figured out how to hire different kinds of people and how to build an organization with them. And they finally had VC relationships in place. So it was at the base of the vortex, when Costolo and team had all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle assembled, that they finally succeeded in their entrepreneurial journey, 13 years after first starting up. At FeedBurner, Costolo then learned how to build an ad network for brand ads. He later used this learning to rapidly build a brand ad network for Twitter when he became Twitter's CEO, because Twitter also couldn't have relied on search ads in its feed. So this is what the nature of entrepreneurship is. It is an uncertain journey in a turbulent vortex. You will start at the top of the vortex with a trivial idea, something that's totally contained in just a few lines of text. Let's call it a kickoff idea. It could be something as simple as web consulting, as it was for Costlo. The kickoff idea will be trivial because you will not have assembled any pieces of the jigsaw puzzle at this point. This is why it will also be a bad and incomplete idea. Then, as you proceed in your entrepreneurial journey, you will learn many things about your space, which will force you to change your idea. You will find co-founders, advisors, and financiers along the way who will help you evolve your idea even more. Only after trying several different things in your journey through this turbulent vortex will your idea have evolved to become something I call an eventual idea. This is what I called a good startup idea in the previous video. This is the point at which your jigsaw puzzle would be complete. And this is when you will begin to find success in your entrepreneurial journey. The most important takeaway from the Idea Vortex framework is that there is no such thing as a killer startup idea. Every entrepreneur must start their journey with a bad kickoff idea. After starting up, as you traverse the Idea Vortex, you will learn a lot about how the world really works. You will gradually collect pieces of your jigsaw puzzle. You will find co-founders and advisors. You will pivot and change your kickoff idea based on feedback. You will learn how to hire in your space and how to build an organization. You will build relationships with financiers. You will discover industry secrets that very few people would know. And finally, when you have all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle assembled, your idea will have evolved to become an eventual idea, which is a good startup idea. This is when you will achieve founder market fit. So if you are waiting for a killer startup idea to take the leap into entrepreneurship, know that this is not how successful startups are born. There is no such thing as a killer startup idea. One more thing, the learning needed for evolving a kickoff idea into an eventual idea is not something that needs genius. It only needs perseverance and diligence. What Costlo did not require genius. Said another way, this means that the Idea Vortex pushes entrepreneurs to success. You may start anywhere with any kind of bad idea. As long as you are diligent and have the perseverance to traverse the Idea Vortex for a long time, you will eventually find success. Every time you iterate, every time you repeat, you get closer and closer to success because each iteration gives you very valuable learning, even if you fail. I find this to be incredibly hopeful. If the Idea Vortex pushes entrepreneurs to success, anyone can succeed as an entrepreneur. Genius is not necessary. You only need to be relentless. Let's summarize everything we have learned so far about ideas and entrepreneurship through our two frameworks. Firstly, I have taught hundreds of students and seen that many of them have this fallacy that I call the killer idea fallacy. It is this belief that you will quit your job and become an entrepreneur once you find a killer startup idea. This fallacy also shows up when someone points out a few problems with your idea. So you get deterred, thinking that your idea is not complete or is simply not good enough. You start believing that you must find a different idea, a better idea, before you can start up. If you understand the Idea Vortex, you will appreciate that there is no point in waiting for a killer startup idea because all kickoff ideas are bad and incomplete. You are yet to assemble any of the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that make up a good idea. It is only eventual ideas that are good ideas. And the only way to find your jigsaw pieces to get to your eventual idea is to become an entrepreneur and to start your vortex traversal. If you are not an entrepreneur trying to actually solve problems in your space, you will just not be in a position to find the jigsaw pieces. I have also taught many students who get stuck in the process of ideation and brainstorming before starting up. Again, this process has little value because the end result will still be a trivial kickoff idea without any of the jigsaw pieces assembled. There is little value at the top of the vortex and a lot of value at the bottom of the vortex. Therefore, there is little value in ideation and all the value in vortex traversal. This is why the Winklevoss twins in the social network are wrong. This is also why a supposed co-founder who participated in ideation for a startup but did not participate in the entrepreneurial journey usually gets no equity. Finally, the frameworks tell us that eventual ideas cannot be stolen because they are a completed jigsaw puzzle with many pieces, of which the founder itself is a key piece. If someone has to copy your eventual idea, they will have to rebuild your entire jigsaw puzzle. Some students in my class take time to absorb this because we have all observed startups copying other startups. Many cite the urban legend that Steve Jobs copied Xerox PARC's idea of a graphical user interface. Whether that legend is true or not, the important point to understand is that for someone to copy your eventual idea, they will have to rebuild your entire jigsaw puzzle. So it is possible for an organization that has its own jigsaw already assembled to copy parts of another organization's jigsaw puzzle. For example, it is possible for an automaker to copy a process from another automaker that will save it 4% of its costs. But if you shared your idea with an individual, it is not possible for that individual to drop their current plans and start recreating your jigsaw puzzle. And even though it is theoretically possible that your eventual idea is so good that an organization will want to overcome its organizational inertia, obliterate and reconstruct all its targets and incentive systems, and conquer its internal politics to start chasing in your direction, the odds of this possibility are so low that you may as well be worrying about an asteroid striking your house. So how do you get a good startup idea? By quitting your job, becoming an entrepreneur, and starting your own vortex traversal with any trivial kickoff idea. You cannot wait for a killer idea to start your journey. Startups come first, good ideas follow. Successful entrepreneurs start idea-less, like Dick Costolo, who started his journey with the simplest of non-ideas, web consulting. Because kickoff ideas are bound to be bad ideas, the way to succeed in entrepreneurship is to start up with any kickoff idea and to persevere and evolve your idea over time. As you traverse your idea vortex and learn more about how the world works, you will start to come closer to success. But if you're struggling with how to get any startup idea, even if it's just a kickoff idea, the next section has a reading on Y Combinator's RFS that you can use to get a kickoff idea. Look it up. Hey there, I'm KJ Saxena, founder of Relentless VC. The video you just watched is part of the Venture Capital and Entrepreneurship specialization, which is available absolutely for free on relentless.ventures. Go check it out. If you're a tech startup founder and want to raise money from us, you should apply on our website. Lastly, if you like this video, do subscribe and share it with your friends.